right, welcome to FAB Chats. This is our first episode. We're here with one of our favorite vendors, Max. You will find his information if you received on your tour our vendor sheet. And we're just going to kind of chat it out.
Just kind of loosey-goosey. Yeah. So first off, thank you. I appreciate it. That's really awesome to be over here on a day that is not a wedding. It's
weird.
Totally strange to not have the whole thing today.
So like have a whole conversation and not be interrupted by like somebody needing something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or me tapping you on the shoulder and messing with you the whole time that we're here. And right. But no, my name is Max. Some know me as Max. We'll just leave it at that. Pitbull. I think, didn't we film that here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was here.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So they call me Armando. I like Fireball, long walks on the beach in Miami. No. My name is Max. I am owner of Center Stage Productions and based out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So we're just a little bit away, about not quite 2 hours from here, but definitely enjoy coming over here. It's always pretty awesome to come over here and work with this team. And if it wasn't an awesome experience, totally would not be. I wouldn't make the trip. It's a long haul, especially in the middle of the night. So.
It is. Yeah.
But no,
getting back, we always make sure you have extra caffeine for your road trip home.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the things that's
it.
really nice. Like you guys don't just say, okay, lock up when you're done and leave. Cause like that happens.
Yeah.
It happens. And I'm like, especially the venues that I've never been to before. Mm-hmm. They're like, can you just lock up when you're done? I'm like,
they have you lock up.
Yeah.
Huh.
Get all your stuff out and get out. Like lock the doors, turn off the lights when you leave. And I'm like, where's all the light switches? How much alcohol do you have at the bar?
Yeah.
You don't know me from nobody.
Yeah.
And but it happens. And it's like the ones that I have a great relationship with, like it's not such a big deal. But yeah, you guys stick around even though you're like, will you please get out of here already? Like everybody's tired at that point, right?
Yes, but I feel like you clean up pretty quick.
Right, considering, the stuff that we bring in to make it all work, right. But you guys, you never make me feel like, well, you just get out of here. Good. It's always, hey, no, don't worry, we got to clean up, we got to do this, we got to do that, take your time. Do you need something for the road? Do you need a Red Bull or whatever? So, like, that means the world. From my standpoint, that means the world because there's many places that are like,
yeah.
Come on, let's move.
Okay, so I think we're gonna get into a couple questions if you don't mind going back and forth for a little bit. Okay, so these are questions about the venue.
Okay.
What makes this venue stand out to you compared to others that you've worked with? And we kind of talked about that. I feel like, we go a little bit above and beyond and make sure that you're getting out the door safely, and it's our job to make sure that our doors get locked.
Right. Right.
And that you're caffeinated when you go.
Right. Caffeinated to make it all.
But what else do you think?
It feels like family. Honestly, that is the thing that really stands out to me about you guys is like you genuinely care about not only your clients, but also the vendors as well.
Yeah.
Like when I walk in here, except for the one time, because again, we have a 2-hour drive to get down here. Yeah, I got to go to the bathroom. I walk and go to the bathroom and I come out. They're like, well, we're ignoring you now because you ignored it. I'm like, no, I didn't mean to just completely ignore you. But it's like, it's a 2-hour drive. We got to go. But it's always, hey, how's it going? How you been?
Yeah.
Hugs, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of venues, they don't even really acknowledge, not that I need the verification, like, hey, you're here, great, the party can. No, it's not even about that. But it's
just that,
like, I get to come hang out with my friends.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just makes the entire experience for everybody because now we're already comfortable, right?
Yeah.
I can come in and start harassing you guys, and it's perfectly okay.
Yep.
Whereas, and that just kind of sets the tone, and the clients can pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
People understand that, hey, we're working together. We know how we each other work, and it's just going to be that much smoother process for everybody.
And one thing we tell our bride and groom too is that, or our couples, is that your vendors are here to take care of you. We want to make sure we take care of them.
Right.
We want to make sure that they have drinks. It's not going to be on you to put that into your budget to make sure that each vendor gets hydrated through the night. Like
Right.
we want to make sure if you haven't been here before, that you've seen the whole place. Like what are things that are new, because we're always changing things around here.
Right.
But yeah,
It's not like we're adopting them into our
yes,
barn family.
Right.
yeah,
Because
we want to throw the
part of
best
the team
party.
now.
We want
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're
if
happy, the couple's happy.
yep,
Right.
exactly.
It's giving us everybody the best opportunity to be successful.
Yeah.
And with the amount of money that couples are shelling out to do weddings nowadays, like if I was a couple and everything just kind of became a dumpster fire, I'd be upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And by everybody working together and communicating, and we're always working together. It's
Yeah.
never, we're doing this. No, we're doing this. And
Yeah.
it's never been a boxing match.
Yep.
It's never been one of those, you have to do it this way. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Yep.
Can we do this? Is that okay? Are we cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
it works for you, works for
Yeah.
me. Let's go talk
Yeah.
it over with the couples.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
that's really cool. The other thing that really stands out to me, and I think this is why it's made such a long lasting impression, and having that family atmosphere, was the very first time that I was out here was with Ben and Eric. And it was after, it was the week that we had our derecho over in Iowa, which for those that aren't familiar, because none of us had ever heard that term,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a land hurricane essentially.
Yeah.
And so we had 120, 140 mile an hour winds, somewhere
Crazy.
in that neighborhood,
Crazy.
sustained for like 45 minutes or an hour. So basically you can imagine everything gets leveled, right? And everything that goes along with that. So the very first week we were over here, we still didn't have power. I don't know about Ben or Eric at that point. You guys probably were about the same boat, I would guess.
Yeah, it was a week we didn't have power.
Right.
I think, yeah.
So that happened on a Monday or Tuesday. We had the wedding on that Saturday, I believe, and walked in. You guys don't know me from no one. And, we were kind of talking. We out of sight, out of mind. We're here at work. We're going to do our thing. And we had some downtime. And then Dan had come over and talking and kind of explained what was going on. And he's like, well, if you need a generator, we'll get you a generator. Like, you don't know me. I'm from 2 hours away. Like, you're
Yeah.
offering up something like this and to completely strange
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, these are pretty cool people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they genuinely care
Yeah.
about everybody that they're working with.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
to me, that was like, okay.
I married well.
Right. Well, I mean, you do pretty well for yourself too. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but no,
That
Shout
is
out
awesome.
Dan, shout out Dan.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like, okay, that's not something I would have expected from
A venue
anyone
owner.
for that
Yeah.
matter, but much less somebody that I'm working with.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you don't get that family feel. It's usually just a working relationship. Of course, you're friendly and all that stuff, but you don't get that, oh my God, we're so glad to see you. Like, how are the kids? How's this? How's that?
Yeah.
Whatever. So
Yeah.
that,
I agree.
and every time you come out here, it's a different experience,
Yep.
right? Every other year, you got corner beans out back. So that changes it. I can come here 4 times in a year and it looks different every single time. Whether it's spring and the crops are just getting planted, or you go out in the middle of the summer and the corn is 8 feet tall, or in the fall when either they've harvested it or they're ready to harvest it. So it just kind of gives that different vibe every time. Just a little bit
Yeah, I
different
agree.
look to it. And it never seems like it's the same place
Yeah.
2 times in a row.
Yeah. I love that. I like it. I like it.
Cut half of that out.
All right. So we kind of were chatting with you earlier about this, but about acoustics and how do the acoustics and layout of this venue influence your setup and performance? One thing I want to add before is my favorite thing to do is listen to Max setup because we make fun of him because we're like, oh, you can count to 4. Good job. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Cassie will go 5, 6, 7, 8 in the background. It's the best. It's the best. We love it.
Yes. I get a lot of crap about that. And it's like, I need to come, like, I know other things that I can say, but never knowing who's here, I definitely don't want to broadcast that to the world.
Yeah.
But it is, acoustics in here are a challenge.
Yep.
Right. There are ways to overcome that. Like, so for me, I bring in extra speakers. The idea here is that you turn the volume down and you get the speakers closer to your audience. Right. So to kind of illustrate it right here, if I'm set up over here you got audience here and you got audience back here. Okay. If I play,
Yep.
these people are going to hear it before these people. Okay. But these people aren't going to be able to hear it very loud because the sound is going to go like this. Okay. So what do? You turn it up, right? So now these people here are deaf. These people, these people hear, rah, 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 but it's just louder.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't translate very well. And because of the way the features of the barn, there's a lot of hard surfaces. So it's going to acoustically bounce around. It's just, I've never learned so much about physics until I started doing this, because sound is essentially physics. I'm still not very good at it or understand all of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. So what you do is you take your speakers here, you turn these at a lower volume, and then you put another set of speakers halfway. And then what you do is you turn these on delay. And Ben, we can like demonstrate this down there so you can kind of show what we're talking about. So what happens is when we hit this set of speakers, you're going to get, hello, welcome to the barn at Fairview Acres. And it's going to go all the way. Holy cow, it is really sleeting. Yikes.
It's my favorite.
Squirrel. But if you have that other set of speakers, we put this on a delay. Let's back up. If we don't put it on delay, we're going to have, hello, welcome to the barn at Fairview Acres. Hello, welcome to the barn at Fairview Acres. You're going to have a delay in that speaker by the time the sound travels from here to here, if you use both sets.
Yeah.
If you put this one on delay and you had this one go, now this is going to go, hits that delay mark. Welcome to the barn at Fairview Acres. They're all going to hear it at the same time. So that's going to alleviate some of that echo effect.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to, okay? And because we can put the extra set of speakers on either side, we can aim that differently. We can get a little bit more finite where that sound is going to travel, as opposed to just throwing it up and like, okay, you got people all across the back. Hopefully they can hear it and hopefully they can understand it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if your DJ's here and nobody can understand what's being said or hear it, why are they here?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no point. I can't give directions. Nobody's going to follow directions, and they're all going to go, huh?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Because you got to be able to keep everybody informed and to know
Right.
what's going on, or we're going to lose them.
Right,
Yeah.
100%. And I, for lack of a better way to say it, I play a little bit of a psychological thing with people when I'm doing those announcements. So if we're getting ready for introductions, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 20 minutes until our introductions. Grab yourself a drink, find your seats if you haven't already. 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're down to 10 minutes before our introductions, 5 minutes, and now it's imminent. Hey, we're doing our introductions in 2 minutes. Please find your seats. They've already heard it a couple times.
Yep.
They're already starting to head there. So now when it's like, hey, we need you to move,
Yep.
they're already doing it.
Yeah.
And because they can hear it, it makes it so much easier to kind of get
does.
everybody to go instead of, yeah, we're going to do our introductions now. Can everybody sit down?
No, that doesn't work.
5 hours later, that kind of a thing. So it's everything we do, everything I do is done. It may seem like it's haphazard and it may seem like it's, why are you going through all this extra work to do it? There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
There's method to the madness. It may not always be clear, but it's,
I mean, I
This is
know
why we
you're
wanna do
crazy, but I knew there was a method. To
right.
it.
And honestly, I still can't count past
It was a
4.
The world we live in. That's who we are.
And I think it was you that were messing with me that got
yeah.
the bride involved. So, okay. Lindsay calls me up as their practice. You called me up and you
Yeah.
said, hey, you're going to be here this weekend, right? No, I'm not. I have no idea what you're talking about. She's like, you're not here? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. And like, I could hear the panic attack in her voice. It was great.
No.
It was everything
was.
that I wanted it to be.
It's not great.
So, they were like, oh, I'm just messing with you. I'm here. Everything's good. We do our check-in or whatever. I get here, and I think Eric was with us. Yeah, it was Eric that was there.
Yeah.
So I'm setting up, and I'm going through, and I'm plugging stuff in, and I had it plugged in, or plugged it, was going to plug it in.
Yep.
And
I think you were almost done with sound check.
I was plugging something in.
So it was getting plugged in. And there wasn't
there was
any
nothing.
power. I don't know what
And
happened.
I'm like, I go and double check all of my stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not losing, because I'll forget cables from time to time. Like I'll be adjusting my sub, and I'm like, this is maxed out? Oh yeah, because you didn't connect the cable, you idiot. Little things I figured out, but I'm like, Lindsay, can you check your breaker panel? I think we blew a breaker or something.
It looked good to me. There was nothing wrong with it.
And so she thought she was pulling one over on me. Well, as she had flipped the breaker, I was either plugging something in or unplugging it, so I didn't know the difference. It was perfect, perfectly. Like you couldn't have timed it any better. I'm like, I don't know, something's not right. Like whatever. Oh yeah, we're just messing with you, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was that same wedding that when I was doing my 1, 2, 3, 4s and sound check, that she had the bride from up here stand up there. The bride goes, "That sounds like crap." Or is this the way it's gonna be?
You did that? That is amazing.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's fine. It sounds good.
The worst part is that Max is so cool, calm, and collected that it didn't even bother him. So like my end of stuff it wasn't even great. Like I got worked up because I really thought you weren't going to come. So it wasn't even fair.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm sure
thought I was
there's
gonna have to
probably
DJ.
going to be more of that, coming
Oh,
down
yeah.
the line that I don't expect it. But
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
But
For sure.
I mean, it's that kind of relationship because most other venues
Yeah.
wouldn't even think to do something like that. They'd be too afraid to upset somebody or break
Yeah.
something. You guys are like, whatever, watch this.
Cut the pallet.
But then again, most of your vendors aren't going to be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
No clue. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah,
You're on your own.
exactly.
Good luck.
Exactly.
Hope it works out.
Exactly. I always say if I'm not giving you crap, then I probably don't like you. So you better watch out.
Oh, right. And even when like you guys are dismissing tables, which
Yeah.
that's something you guys take on
Yeah.
most of the time, which like I appreciate. I don't mind dismissing tables. I think it's pretty cool. It gives me a chance to chat with guests. But when I'm not having to be responsible for that, it kind of just lets me like
Okay, everything's in order.
catch my breath.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we got the ceremony, we got cocktail hour. Like I can kind of breathe a little bit and I can get a little bit of that downtime. So that's awesome. But like when you guys are dismissing the tables, I'll walk up behind and do it, and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we could have fun while we're working.
I agree.
Right.
agree.
And I think guests definitely see that.
Yeah,
They
I think so,
recognize it and it's like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, we got a good group of people.
I think so too. What were you gonna say, Ben?
It's like a monsoon.
I was just gonna say back to the thing that you were saying earlier about the echo and stuff. I feel like that's one of those pro level tips that goes unnoticed, but it adds to the overall experience. That I think you guys do a lot of little things like that no one notices, like
Right.
the curtains on the doors for the soundproof and stuff. I'm sure there's stuff that I don't even realize that. I
There's
feel like you
carpet
always-
under every single table down there that we
Yeah,
have
the
stapled
carpet.
to the,
Yep.
yeah,
the chairs,
little pieces
the
of yeah.
soundproof
Yeah.
chairs. That's such a cool thing that.
But that also goes to show how much you guys care about the success of everybody in this building when they're here. Most venues don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
well,
time
we're
we
not
come
gonna-
here, they hold a knife to us and they're like, "How can we improve our venue?"
Like,
That's not a lie. I don't always have a knife, but the question does come out.
you call that a knife?
What could
Now that's a knife.
Oh shoot.
But like you go out of your way to do those things. You go out of your way to ask for those those suggestions for improvement. Whereas
think-
most venues are like, take it or leave it. This is what we
Yeah.
do.
I think just because we're human, like everyone does things how they want to, but there's always going to be room for things to get better. And if you're not open and say, "Hey, this is what we have. Is it great? I don't know, but could you help us improve it?" It just helps us be more human to someone else. And we even ask guests that during weddings.
So
Like,
often, if I'm here and I'm working, 9 times out of 10, I've asked 10 people on the floor, "Are you comfortable? Is the temperature all right? What can we do that's better?" And we hear compliments, but okay, that's great. But for real, what could make this better? So we swim in it so long. How would we even? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it even goes on our slideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
What do you
guests
mean?
to see how we
What do you
can.
mean goes on our slideshow?
Yeah. We're always striving to do better.
Oh yeah.
Here's Christy's personal information.
Yeah.
Please contact her.
Blow up her phone at like 3 a.m. Oh yeah, I just randomly thought of this thing.
Get rid of the gravel.
But taking that initiative though, like
Yeah.
most people don't, and you're open to it.
Yeah.
Like things that we talk about, you're like, oh, yeah, maybe we could do that. But even just having the foam underneath the chairs, underneath the tables, I know of nobody else that I've come across that does that.
Yeah.
And you had that done the first time I was here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Like most people are like, whatever. We got these chairs because they look cute and they go with everything, right?
I mean, we do buy those chairs too. Don't get us wrong.
right.
But
Right. But what did it take you? A couple hours to do that? Maybe a few $100, and that's one thing that you can do to alleviate some of those things that you've seen as issues or problems or room for improvement.
Ben, I feel like we're doing really great. We got through a lot. I'm just letting you know.
He's like, we
the
have
importance
questions?
of venue DJ collaboration. Wicka, wicka. How does that impact the success? I feel like we've kind of talked about that. I mean, no?
Yes and no. So like after we come in, so it used to be when I
feel like
walked
it
in.
starts. I feel like it starts when we do our vendor calls.
Right,
Like,
100%.
yeah.
And that's not something that you got, well, at least with me, you've not always done. That's
No.
more of a recent thing.
Yeah.
But it's a quick call. Hey, cool. We got a timeline. Good. You're going to be here. Great. What do you need? Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Because we've worked together enough. You know exactly what I'm bringing to
Yeah.
the table. I know what you guys are bringing to the table. We just got to make it happen for that particular event. And one of the things that we do, one of the things I like to do with every venue that I work with or any coordinator or along down the line, when I get there and we get some downtime, hey, let's compare our schedules.
Yeah.
Just to make sure nothing has changed from when we spoke earlier. There's not been any curveballs that have been sent out there because we all know it happens.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Weather can dictate that. If they get a late start to photos, that's going to dictate that. Like there's always those little changes, but not only with you guys, but with our photo teams, with our video teams, and make sure that we're all working together. If we have to change a plan because of sunset photos, hey, Lindsay, I'm thinking we're probably going to need to bump these. We cool with that? Everything good?
Yep.
Or, hey, you guys good for catering? Everybody good? Cool? All right, now let's move ahead with it. And if there's any change of plans, we all have to be in communication with each other.
Yep.
I can't just go and say, okay, now we're going to do this. And you guys are like, whoa, time out. Wait, hold on. We can't dismiss tables yet.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody here to do that. Talk about it. It's communication. Solve so many of the problems as far as weddings goes and allows your clients to relax.
I agree.
I know when I pitch to clients, I'm like, look, my goal is for you guys to sit back and relax.
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
tell
Not
you where
worry
you
about
need to
what
be.
is next.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell you where you need to be, when you need to be there. You enjoy the day, be in the moment.
Yep.
Let your people, let your venue, let
agree.
your DJ, let all of those people, if you hire the right people,
Yep.
it's a very easy process.
Yep. I agree.
Very, very easy process.
I agree.
And even like moving tables. If we need to move tables, hey guys, are we planning on moving the head table back or out, or what do we need to do?
Yep.
Okay, how much time do we need to do that? Cool. We can stall. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 15 minutes until our first dance for tonight. Make sure that you've got your drink. If you need to use the restroom, whatever. It buys you guys that time. And it's quick, 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Do you guys need help?
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Let's all move forward together with it all.
Love it. Love it. Okay. What's your process for coordinating with the venue's staff on the day of an event?
Honestly, just walking up and, guys, what do you got?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
anymore,
really.
but that's the relationship
And-
that we have.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to be doing today?
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait,
What's
is
my
that what I'm doing?
Oh, I got to take the lens cap off. Ah.
All the time, every time.
That's why all the pictures are so dark.
Yeah.
That was
no.
my running joke with Eric. Every time we were here, we were right as they're entering the reception. They'll be entering, and I'll be like, "Should I hit record for this?"
I remember.
Should I
you
land the
doing that
drone
shit.
and help out with this?
I think Eric at first was like, "Are you kidding?" And then he realized I was joking.
But it's all in the delivery there, like how that all goes, right?
Golly.
Oh, yeah, we should probably do that. Oh, batteries. Should we turn the mics on? You just yell really loud.
Yeah.
But no, it really just comes down to that communication. Step in and, photographers, introduce yourself to the video team, introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah.
Like somebody take initiative here
Yeah, I wish more people
to
did
do that.
Yeah.
I have to always reach out
Right.
to be like, "Hey, I'm excited to work with you today."
Right. And even if I don't reach
That would be
out,
kind of cool to like have a vendor meeting before.
Yeah, there's an idea.
Tricky.
It would be
It
very
could be
tricky.
tricky.
It'd be very tricky. I don't know when it would happen, but
Just a meet and greet.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about logistics or anything. It just,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
I kinda dig
logistics
that.
will come up, but
right.
Yeah.
Because at that point, what is it? It's videography, photography, DJ, you and the other lead.
Yeah.
Because hair and makeup are already gone.
Right.
yeah. Yep.
But if your vendor team, like with me, I will go up and talk about all of those things. And usually I try to get the photo and video teams together.
Yeah.
Because they're so similar in what they need.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the video, I have a separate conversation about audio. So, okay. Hey, do you want to record audio? Okay. Here are your options.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But again, go out of your way to go introduce yourself to the people that you're working with. You don't go into a 9-to-5 job at the bank and sit there as a teller and this is all you do.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You talk to the other people. Hey, good morning. How was your weekend? You know, same kind of idea.
Yeah.
Just talk to people. It's
Yep.
super simple. And it
I
makes
agree.
everything flow that much easier. Like I'm not starting speeches without Ben knowing what's going on. And
Yeah,
the photographer's not going, oh yeah, so this is really good food. Ladies and gentlemen, oh geez, oh God, here we go. We have to go get our camera set. Like give them the heads up to it.
Yep.
Because ultimately the client's going to win.
Yep.
They're paying through the nose for photography. They're paying through the nose for video teams. Well, just Photoshop it in. Sure.
Yeah.
But if they miss it, what are you photoshopping?
Photoshop?
There's nothing there to work with. So let's talk. Hey, what do you got? Cool. Ceremony at 4:00. Oh, we needed to bump that back to 4:15. Cool. Done. Easy.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, it's as simple as that.
I would also
agree.
say that I think the guests at the tables, not just the wedding party and the family and the bride and groom or the couples and what all that, everyone seems to notice what people are doing. They're paying attention to the staff and who's working the wedding.
Right.
Because we'll get a lot of comments on, I mean, we get compliments a lot on our team and how they go the extra mile and what they're doing and how different it is and how it feels. But they'll also compliment people who they think are part of our team, who are just the vendors that have been brought in that like, oh yeah, we'll claim it.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he's ours.
Exactly.
He's ours.
Yeah.
Right.
But not really. It's Max, Center Stage Production.
But anything that I do, especially as a DJ, because everything that I'm going to do is very upfront and in your face, right? If I miss a sound cue, it's going to be very noticeable. Whereas if Ben misses a shot, he can edit it out. Like nobody's going to know that it ever was a problem.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if I hit the strobes during the first dance, that's going to be a problem. Like everybody's going to see that. And so now directly, indirectly, it's a reflection on you guys because there's a lot of people for whatever reason that can't separate the venue from the photo, from the video, from the DJ, from this, from that, from the other. If there's a problem with the food, who's the first person they're calling?
Us.
You guys. Hey, we got sick off of the food. Not my problem. Right?
Yeah.
You guys aren't going to say not my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are probably going to go out and be, hey, okay, cool. Yeah, we had this caterer. You may reach out to them and be like, hey, so this is what we've heard, kind of a thing. But it all is a reflection of you guys.
It is.
And then when you put those vendor lists out, like clients, I'm talking to you right here, take those seriously. These are the people that they've worked with. Dan, Christy, Lindsay, Cassidy, the whole team here, they're not going to put their names on the line for you to go hire Joe Schmo from Timbuktu who's charging you $500 for a DJ. They're not going to put their name on the line for that. Like when they give you those lists, use them.
Yeah.
They're tried and true. I can promise you guys have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to talk bad about anybody, but they're probably going to shy you away. Oh, okay. You picked them? Well, did you consider this person or that person, right?
Yeah.
Use those lists that they give you. There's a reason they have them.
Yeah.
They make it easier for not only the clients, but for venue, everybody. It's a much more seamless experience. And again, comes down to working together.
And we've had some couples who've had situations where they've reached out to say everyone that's on the list, but they're all booked. And so then what I've started saying is if you can't find someone here because they're all already scheduled, then ask for referrals from these people.
Right.
Because they know us, they know how we
And
work,
you've
they
given
know
a
the
few.
standard
Right.
of excellence. So you can trust their words. We
Right.
trust their words to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as a vendor, I guess this is my train of thought on it. As a vendor, if I can't book somebody, but I have a whole roster of people over here that are looking for work, why would I not make this connection?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just seems so simple, but there's so many, and I can't speak to the other parts of the industry, but in the DJ world, there's so many egos that are involved. And it becomes, if you are not my client, I'm not giving you the time of day. I don't care what happens to you. You can go walk out in traffic for all I care. is the attitude that they put out.
Yeah.
Like, you're not my client. I don't, go away. Like, I can't help you. Hey, DJ ABC, DJ whatever. You guys available? Cool. Great. I've got this venue over in Biggsville. I've got this client. Talk.
Yeah.
You fit the budget. I can assure you, you are going to have a good time with that.
Yeah.
Clients appreciate it. Like, they don't have to go out and search nobody searches the yellow pages. Oh my God, I'm old. Tom was, we had the yellow pages. But you don't have to go out and Google and try to decipher who's good and who's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can put anything out there on the internet, whether that's social media or your website. You can make anything look the way you want it to look. But is it consistent? Is it what the actual end product's going to be? And why not take it from somebody you've been referred to take their referrals?
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not going to refer somebody and put my name on the line for Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's looking for a videographer. I'm like, okay, you want Ben, you want this guy, you want this guy, you want this guy.
Yep.
I trust them. I trust them to run my wedding.
Yep.
Hire them.
Yep.
You've got the experience. Same way with you guys. You have that experience of.
Yeah, and we actually we pay attention in our leadership meetings. We assess each wedding based on how it could have been better and what if it was something we can control or we couldn't.
Right.
Were there any vendor issues? And we pay attention to who's on our list that do they still get to have that spot?
Right.
Or is there someone better for that spot?
Yeah.
And so we've had updated lists with changes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we can't in good conscience if we noticed a shift in something or a performance or an attitude or something.
Yep.
Right. And
So-
everybody has bad days.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
different. Like
Yeah.
if it's
Right.
a different thing, like it's a standard of excellence, or if it's an integrity issue, or or
Yep.
they're adding just negative energy to the vibe, or they're bad talking, like bad mouthing the couple, or something like that. Like,
Right.
no thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Because that
You don't
all
fit here.
feeds.
God bless your heart.
That cancer, for lack of a better way to say it, that cancer spreads.
Yep.
And like, there's different things. Like, when us vendors are all together, we can have different conversations than we're going to have in front of a client. Oh, you're not going to believe what we saw last weekend. Try me, and we can talk freely at that point. But when it comes down to that client facing thing, you can't, in the world that we live in, you can't just go and badmouth people. And believe it or not, this is a small industry. Like, in our respective areas, pretty much everybody knows everybody. And it will get back around to so-and-so that you said this, that, or the other, or it can be misconstrued as you said this, that, or the other. And now you've completely burned a bridge, and now you got the friction there.
Yeah.
Right. And let's all work together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why not just work together?
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be a me versus you kind of thing.
No.
I agree.
And we found here in terms of, I think the most often asked question to me as a venue owner is, oh my gosh, how many bridezillas have you had? Well, I swear to you, like, if someone is that level of cranky, there's something else going on.
Right.
It is not us. I know in my heart of hearts it's not us, intentionally at least, because we would never.
Right.
But there's something else going on. And so we found that we can kill most anyone with kindness.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the everything shifts and everything becomes better.
Right.
So we really haven't had that many that have been a genuine problem. Not with us anyway.
No.
Well, and I just have a hard time believing that you guys would even be up against that. Just the way you carry yourselves, the way you bend over backwards for people. Like, you know how many venues are out there that... Two things. How many venues are out there that the staff have requested songs and I know walking in what songs that they want because they have specific dances for them?
That's me.
Okay.
Yes,
So we've got
for
Church
sure.
Clap. We've
sure.
got Ed Sheeran Shivers. Like, those are the two main ones,
Yep,
right?
yep.
I know going in that those songs, one of those
They
two
need to be
songs
played.
is going to be played throughout the night at some point. Do I know that it's going to clear the dance floor? Yes. I know this. But I also know that when you guys get out there, it starts out and people are like, what are we doing here? And they join in.
Yep.
They stand on the sidelines and they're like,
I can church clap.
I got this.
Yeah.
And they get in there and you guys are now leading that. Like nobody else does that.
Yeah.
There is no one else that I have encountered that does that.
Yeah.
It's a whole different feel to it. Whole different thing.
Love it. Love it.
I like to tell a story on my tours. This is a total sidebar, where I was out on the east side over here. I was doing something. I had a busting tub in my hand or something, and I see Cassidy come out. She has her winter coat on, and she hears whatever her song is. What's her song? What is it?
Probably Shivers.
Shivers. I hear her. I see her hear it, and she goes. She takes off her coat, like she drops her thing, takes off her coat. I hear her run to the dance. I like see her run to the dance floor, and then in no time I hear 1, 2, step down. Like she's teaching everybody.
Yes.
And then moments later, puts her coat on, just goes back out, and reloading the car. Like, oh my gosh!
Because
I tell people-
it's usually right in the middle of the busy, like packing everybody up. But we also want to be out there and enjoy it with you.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm very careful to tell people on our tours that we're very service oriented, but we're not this kind of service.
Right.
We're this kind of service.
Right.
I mean, we're going to be
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
kind of service. You will see, it is not odd to see behind the bar, the bartenders fist pumping,
Yep.
people bussing and dancing and singing,
Yep.
and they'll take a moment on the dance floor and then Tile, dance his way back to the bar. But I promise we're not drunk.
Yeah.
Right.
We're all sober. We're just
Right.
having a good time.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of the ways that I gauge how things are going. So if we don't have a really dancey crowd, I can look out in the dance floor like, this is not what I was wanting.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. It's just the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Not all crowds are like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Some of them
Yeah.
are more a little bit more like, cool. We're
Yeah.
here. We're having fun, but we're not just the really rowdy group. I look over at the bar and Ty is back there just going to town. I'm like, okay, I'm playing the right stuff. I'm like, it's not a me thing. But again, you don't see that. Most of your bartenders at a lot of these places are like, okay, cool, here, get out of here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You guys, you make it fun, the whole thing. There's not ever a point where you're here to do a job to collect a paycheck,
Yeah.
right? You're here, that's all why we all work. But if you don't love the industry and you don't love what you're doing within this industry, it rubs off on people.
Yep,
And
it
you can
does.
tell.
It is.
You can from a vendor, right? It's not enjoyable to work. It's not fun, and running a venue, that's a lot of work. Like it's not a 9 to 5 thing. It's you guys are here at 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes getting stuff ready, and you're here till whenever I decide to get out of here at 2 o'clock or whatever. No, usually it's like 12:30, but again, because of that different feel to it, we can talk about things that we've been dreaming up, and we can run those by each other. Hey, what do you think about this idea?
Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, yeah, great, cool. These are the things you want to think about, so it's a time for us to catch up.
Yeah.
And so it's not, does the teardown take a little bit longer than maybe it would in some other places? Yes. But I leave here knowing like, cool, I get to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
It's like when you go hang out with your cousins when you're a kid.
Yep.
It's the best time ever, right?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. Like you leave here and I'm like, cool. All right. I got my Red Bull. I'm good. 2 hours on the road, point to truck east or west or whatever way that is. And and then that way, like the truck knows the way home. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So kind of what you were talking about with the music and the unts. How do you tailor your music selection to both the couple's taste and the venue's atmosphere? So you kind of hit on that if you see one of us
Right.
back at
And
the bar, but
different venues have a different vibe,
yeah.
right? You go into some of these and I'm like, I'm going to get arrested. Mercedes, BMW, Range Rover, Mercedes, Lamborghini. Like I'm have an F-150. I don't belong here, right? Like, because there's just that feel to it. Like it just a kind of a more prim and proper,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
As opposed to walking in here where it's like, psh, kick your feet up, put your feet up, relax kind of a
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Right. We're home.
Yeah.
Right. And those venues, regardless of which end of the spectrum you are on that, those are the type of clients you attract. And it gives you a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
So now it just kind of spider webs out, right? So if you got the free for all kind of group, well, we know pretty much anything's going to go, right? It's kind of feeling that out. And that's anywhere. You feel it out. Okay, what do we got? All right. So 7:00. We just had dinner. We're past our first dances. 7:00. Cool. Grandma's here. So we're not doing Cardi B.
Yep. That's
Ain't
fair.
happening.
That's fair.
Right? Unless I get explicit instructions from my couple, we ain't doing the Cardi B's because I don't want grandma having a stroke, for one. I don't want 7 and 8-year-old kids going, guess what I learned?
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's
don't
the
want to be the
worst.
guy responsible for that. But on the same side of it, or the other side of it, 11:00 at night, well, we're, in that power hour, that last hour, we probably aren't going to play the Supremes.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
not
sing
the
that for me?
time.
Because I'm not familiar with the Supremes. What's the Supremes?
Look in the yellow book or the yellow pages.
You'll find them
What's the
there.
Oh my God. Have
it
you heard of
slow?
Diana Ross?
Yes.
Okay, Diana Ross was the lead singer of the Supremes. They were a girl
Okay, got
group.
it. Got it. Got
They were the
vibe,
Spice
got
Girls
vibe.
of the 60s.
Okay.
I guess would be the
Okay.
best way to describe that.
Guess I need
Yes.
to listen to that.
A lot of
and pick up
Motown
to
feel. They had hit after hit after hit after hit. So,
Okay. Got it.
but it's not the time or the place for that, right?
Got
like
it. Definitely
you're
not.
probably going to get some singers, but you got to think of what your demographic is at that point. Generally speaking, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, a lot of those folks have left. Like they're over it. They're done with it. I get it. A lot of times the kids have gone. It's past their bedtime. It's nap time.
Yep.
They're gone. You've got your main client and all of their friends who are probably going to be similar age. Now you cater to just that,
Yep.
right? And if you go into these prim and proper places, we're probably not going to be doing pop music for when the ceremony's walking in or people are coming in to find their seats for the ceremony. It's probably going to be more of like the instrumentals. You may be able to do pop music as instrumentals,
Yeah.
but it's just the feel of it, right? And so it comes down to time and place.
Yeah.
Where are we at? What time is it? Who's our clientele? And
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that's one thing I love about you is that for dinner music, it can be very slow and kind of almost put you to sleep.
right.
But I feel like you do a good job of mixing in like newer songs that are still instrumental, that are still dinner-ish vibes,
Right.
but you can sing along to.
Right.
And so it keeps you awake and ready for the next thing.
Yep.
Because that is a moment where I always tell my bride and groom, like, hey, make sure like the party's just getting started. You don't want people to fall asleep.
Right. Especially after eating.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now you're like, okay, first dance.
Exactly.
We don't want
Exactly.
that, but
No.
Well, I mean, and I remember Dan saying, because with his music background, he's like, I never understand why do we come in, we have the ceremony, and then it's like this, and then, shoo, and you're like, like every DJ's expecting it to just spike, like everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we've been sedating them with food and alcohol and slow music.
right.
Yeah.
And now it's time to turn it up. When
Right.
he's like, why doesn't it just become this slow progression?
In an ideal
into,
world,
you
it does
know?
go that way.
Yeah.
And so with all of my clients, I assign all of my clients homework. It's the way it is. And I make that very upfront when I very first get on the phone with them. I said, okay, all of my clients are getting homework. This is now your job to do it. And part of that is picking out the songs that they want for this part, whatever. And having that conversation with them. If you want instrumental music for cocktail hour and dinner, that's fine. But keep in mind that we don't want it to go like this. Like, you're married. Woo!
Yep. And party.
And you start like on a roller coaster.
First
And then,
dance.
okay, now everybody's supposed to be
Yeah.
lively, right? There's ways to switch those things up without
Yeah.
it being obnoxious, right?
agree.
And you just have to have those conversations and educate the clients because a lot of times these clients that we're working with, it's their first time.
Yep.
They don't know what they don't know.
Nope.
They may have Aunt and Uncle Jimmy and Susie who've been chirping in their ear,
Yep.
who got married 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. Like
Yeah,
back then
exactly.
you looked in the yellow pages for your vendor. Now you get
Yeah.
on Google or you talk to your venue. You get one vendor and you ask them, well, at least I put it out there. Hey,
Yeah.
if you're looking for photo and video, these are the people I recommend. Hire them because then I know I get to work with my friends.
Yep.
Right. And that just makes it a lot easier for everybody. Now, if I'm working with somebody that I don't know, that's cool. Great.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to get along.
Yeah.
We're going to have those conversations. I'm going to treat them just like everybody else that we work with. But it just gives it that whole, you don't have the get to know you stage.
Yep. Yeah.
right? We can just jump right in and like Ben, he knows, okay, hey dude, I need to plug in. Okay, what mics do you want this time around? Done.
I think that's an
Yeah.
important note to make for couples, to make sure that their vendors connect before the wedding.
Yeah.
So like whether
Yeah.
that's the couple starting a group email or something, or their planner, coordinator.
Right.
If you guys do a good job, you always reach out to us.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, even if your vendors don't necessarily talk ahead of time, again, you get there, make that introduction.
Yeah.
Especially between myself and the video team.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we work outside of the venue, we work the closest together because there's
Yeah.
of that audio component.
I agree.
And again, ego or ignorance.
Yeah.
DJs, they don't know how their equipment operates. Well, you can't tap into a speaker. It's going to screw up things. No, it ain't. If that was going to screw something up, they wouldn't put that port on the back of the speaker. Right? Like, yeah, I don't understand it. But knowing how that equipment works and making that offer, like reaching out to those video teams, like, look, we're working together for the greater good of this client. I
Yeah.
want you to capture your best audio, whether that means you're micing them up on your own and you have your own recorders or whatever, or you want to tap into my system to do it. Whatever you need,
Yep.
you tell me. Like, and I've got multiple ways. Actually, you can't see it so much now, but my one panel I had built just for Ben, because we had worked together so many times that summer. It actually says graphic formations panel. I put a label on it. And it's still on there, but I have another panel in there now that kind of blocks the view of it. And so like when other video teams would see it, they're like, just,
Who is this?
this is the reason why, right? But it's you going above and beyond to do the things the way you do them. It now, I don't want to say it forces my hand because I'm happy to do it, but it makes me elevate the way I do things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now that elevates the entire thing altogether.
Yeah.
Because now when they get the video that you put together, whether that's 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever that timeline is, everybody's a little bit different. They get excited all over again. And I'm able to provide that audio for
Yeah.
this scenario. And like, cool. It like I get to relive that vicariously through your eyes or your lens, right? Again, work together, communicate. Let's make this the best it can be for everyone.
In your experience, what features of this venue do guests seem to enjoy the most? I don't think we hit that one.
So it's the best way I can describe it. I heard it when I was in New York one time. That's not meant to be like a flex or anything, but I heard some, like it wasn't work by any stretch of the imagination. I was totally there for a ball game. So full disclosure, that's all that was. But I mean, when you're there, you might as well go do some other stuff, right?
Right.
But I heard somebody say you can always tell the first time somebody's in New York, or fill in the blank with any major city, Chicago, Los Angeles, wherever. First thing they do when they get off the subway. Whoa. Same thing here. You can always tell who's been here. It's their first time being here. They walk in the door and they're like, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It has that effect. Whereas there's some of the venues that, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you walk in here and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right?
I think my favorite is when bridesmaids walk in with bride first thing in the morning. Nobody's here. They're the first ones here. And the bridesmaids are just in awe. And then the bridesmaids start tearing up like, oh my gosh, just walking straight into the door. Like just same thing, looking up and being like, oh, what? My best friend's getting married here today? Like, is this real?
What
Is this
fantasy
happening?
land are
Yeah.
we in right now?
Yeah, I do
cozy,
love
it's
that.
Cozy.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even just this room.
Right.
Yeah.
This room is just so. I could work up here and.
It feels
Yeah.
like home.
Yeah.
There's just that comforting feel to it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the things that you guys offer, most people don't get to see. They see
Yeah.
the main building, right?
Yeah.
But they don't see this bridal suite.
Yep.
They see it through these sliding doors, but they have no idea
Yeah.
what it's like up here. Most people don't see the inside of the bin.
Correct.
That to me is like the coolest thing because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least places that I've been, nobody else has a place where you can go and play video. What is it, Pac-Man or Galaga in there?
60
All of
old
it.
school video games.
Okay, but it's that same feel.
Yeah.
Like that's not a thing. Like you don't have a pinball machine, but you might as well have like
Pool table.
right. You've got
Yeah.
all the things, and if they get too tipsy and they want to spend the night, stumble over there and crash out. Like I go in there and I go, this is so cool. Like
Yeah.
I could totally hang out in here.
Yeah.
I can't. I got to go back in there.
Yeah.
But nobody else sees that, and I don't think most of the guests that come in even realize that's what's actually in there. Like
Yeah.
you can't miss it. You pull up and you're like,
Yeah.
why is
Yeah.
there man doors on that silo? Like what's going on here? But then you open up, it's like, oh, it's a playground. This is awesome, right? And it's always really nice and cool in there, especially in the dead of summer when I go in to meet the couples, like before introductions and stuff. I go in there like, yep, we're just gonna hang out in here for a few minutes, and
Yeah, those.
and it gives your clients that separation too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, they get all their pictures done. Okay, now they can go hang with their best friends in an area that's kind of segregated
Away.
off from
Yeah.
everybody else. They don't have to have the hey, it's so great to see you. We can't. There's a time and a place for that.
Yep.
Let the couple breathe, and it gives them a chance to do that.
I agree.
And having the multiple places to get married, to actually have your ceremony, whether that's out back in front of the the altar.
Altar? Yeah.
I don't know, the thing that hangs all
Yeah.
the things on it.
Altar.
Which is kind of nice because we can hide cables in there. We've had to do that a couple
Yeah.
of times. But on the other side, next to the bin, you've got that other area where Amber and Drew got married over there, which you've got two different ceremony sites.
Yep.
Well, 3 actually. We've had people married under the bistros.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, I've not
It
done
was
that
pretty-
yet.
It
And
was
then
at sunset and it started snowing.
It
right?
started snowing
It was
right
beautiful.
when weddings started. Oh, it
Oh,
was so
gorgeous.
awesome.
I remember coming out with, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 blankets on my arms because everyone was dressed in these lovely dresses. Like they just looked gorgeous,
Right.
but they were freezing because
Yeah.
they thought, oh, I mean, as a normal person would,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure it'll be inside.
Right. That's
So,
cute.
yes.
We paid
Yeah,
for all
we're
of this.
outside.
We're going outside.
Yeah.
But all
Which
the hands that went up like, please.
Yeah.
Yep, got it. Bring in your blankie.
again, when you book a place like this, and actually you're outside, you've got essentially four out back between the seasons and whatever's growing out there.
Yeah.
It changes that entire landscape. So 4, 5, 6, and then inside. And we've even had people get married out front or at the front near the windows or up here on the balcony part
Yeah.
too. So, I mean, there are a million different options. Okay, like 7. But
Close.
I mean,
Super close.
Look, I have trouble getting past 4, so I think I'm doing pretty good
You
to
do have
get to
trouble.
like 7. Okay, don't judge me. That's my public school education that I typically got sent out into the hall for. Different conversation. But there's so many different options, and with the barn being as neutral as it is, you can switch it out to whatever you want it to be. If you want to do more modern and contemporary, you can do modern and contemporary in here. It works. If you want to go rustic, obviously you have the surroundings to make that work. And it works really naturally in here. It's a barn, right? So there's, as far as like client experience, it's just always fun to watch. Whoa. And then they walk up back. Whoa. And then you have the big truck that goes by, you know, or a motorcycle that goes by. Like you've got all of that ambient sound that fits in with what you're doing,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Now, as a sound guy, truck goes by, I'm like, shut up! Because that picks up in my mics.
Yeah.
And then everything that I record now has, you know, or a motorcycle or whatever the case happens. If you're outside, like on the backside, a little bit different, not nearly as prevalent, but it all adds to it, right? There's a venue that has there's a few venues that I play. You've probably, well, I know you've been to Tiffin. I don't know about Burlington. I'm not going to say another name because this is for you guys, but there's one in Burlington that's got a pond that has the fountains, and it really is a nice place. But as a sound guy, like I always talk with the video guys, I'm like, look, we're going to put mics out there, and it's going to pick that up, and you're going to have it in the background. The other side of that is if they're shooting video, and they have the sound, and you can see the water going shh, and you don't hear it. It's like, right?
Yeah.
It's like a kung fu movie. Oh, I'm going to fight you. Right? It just looks off. And that, you know, Ben, that's one thing that you do really well. If it wasn't there, you're going to create that. You're going to go turn your faucet on and shove a mic under it and be like, yep, cool. We got it. Right. But it's all of those things that adds to that, the ambiance of what you've got going on here.
Yeah.
Right. And like even the barn or the bin, I guess never going to, they have the opportunity to go in there, I suppose, but they don't see half of what you guys have to offer. Even the patios on the, you know, June nights, September nights, some October nights, they can go out there. I don't like that as a DJ. My goal is to keep them all right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yard games, not a fan, because it's a distraction. As far as I'm concerned, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Like as the overall feel for it, guests love it. Right.
Yeah.
But I want to keep them here. I don't want them to go here. Right. But when they walk out, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so nice!" And you guys got the bistro lights out there across the yard. I mean, nobody like that's not a thing. There's not many places out here that have those options.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that I haven't really thought about, but is as a venue, you probably have to pay pretty close attention to who's DJing, because the DJ is probably the only other vendor. I mean, maybe the food, but the only other vendor that really plays a role in the experience that the guests have at your venue. So you probably gotta really coordinate with the DJ.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Massive.
Because if you have an awesome venue, but the DJ just is not great,
Or just doesn't.
Ben, I'm sitting here in front of you.
No, don't tell Max I said that.
Or just doesn't want to like, not cooperate, but like follow the timeline that we have spent hours working on with this bride. Like we know exactly what she wants, and to just try to tweak it in a way that they think is going to be best, is hard.
Right.
It's hard.
And a lot of it, again, comes down to ego.
Yeah.
DJs are notorious for being egomaniacs.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm cool. I'm the star of the show. Look at me, right? And to get somebody who can come in and like, we don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? If it's up to me, I would be in the shadows all night long. I don't care if anybody sees me at all.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I will be the God voice, so to speak, for the venue, because anytime anything needs to be communicated, who are you going to?
Yeah.
You got to go to your DJ, right? And you have to have confidence that they're going to be able to convey those messages.
Yep. When
to
we
the guest.
say,
Right.
how we say.
Because some of that is time sensitive. Like, we have to go now.
Yeah.
Or,
For sure.
whoa, hold up.
Yep.
And like, hey, okay, cool. We're going to do first dances in 5 minutes, and 15 minutes goes by. Now you got your guests doing this, you got your guests doing this, and they're checked out, right?
Yeah.
Communicate that stuff.
Yep.
And if your DJ's not doing a very good job, which again, subjective, depending on the crowd, like not every party is a rager.
Yeah.
This guy's got nothing to shoot. Your photographers have nothing to shoot. So there are times where the photographer's like, hey, will you do something? Like, not in a way like you're terrible, but hey, my time is coming up. Like, I'm going to be leaving here in 10 minutes. I need some dance floor shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Let's put on one of the group dance type of songs.
Yeah.
Something that's tried and true, that's going to bring people out, and they can frame it in as, yep, cool. Everybody was dancing at the time we were here.
Yeah.
But then a lot of times you can get that as a catalyst to everything else from there on out. Yeah. Sometimes people just need that little nudge for, whether it's the YMCA or the Cupid Shuffle or any of those dances. I don't usually like to play your guys' songs until a little bit later on into the night, but it kind of jump starts that for people if they're not in it to win it right away.
Yep.
We've been challenged by enough DJs that have come in that we had to create a system to disseminate information because we couldn't count on the DJs to do so, or they would do their own thing. So that's why we have the TV down there. Linz and Cass literally make a slideshow where they take photos of the couple and intermix informational slides.
Yep.
Because then we can trust that the information is getting out.
Right.
If the DJ won't cooperate.
And I've seen that. I just figured that was something that you guys did anyway, just for.
No.
Are you trying to tell me something?
Do you do all those things?
Great.
You do those things.
Great.
Like, am I the only one you guys do that
There's
for?
a sigh of relief when we have certain people that come into this place like, okay, this is gonna be a good one.
Right.
You know it's gonna be good. But and that it's not to say others that are newbies that are come in aren't great.
Right.
But we don't know them yet. And
Right.
that we can't entrust this day to someone we don't know.
Right.
So we create another system as a backup to make sure.
And with
Yeah.
that TV being right above the bar, where are people going to naturally go?
Yeah, exactly.
They got to go get their drinks or whatever. They're naturally going to come up there and they're going to see it. Or during cocktail hour, it's kind of a mixer, if you
Yeah.
will. They're going to just kind of explore the space. It's
Yep.
new for a lot of people.
Yep, exactly. Are there any trends in weddings or events that you are looking forward to or that you think might have been going away?
Now, like as
One
far
thing, well, first off, one thing that I really like that you do is the projector screen. And
for the
these-
longest time, I was known as "You're that guy," right?
Max is very sweet,
For
by the way,
here.
because he comes and in his brain it's somewhere, and I'm like, oh no, it can't go there. It's got to go here. So you're very flexible in that because I feel like I change that on you a lot.
Got to do what we got to do.
But yeah, I love that. If you want to explain that a little bit. you
So monograms, there's a million. Well, it seems like the default. There's 7. No, there's a couple of different ways to do monograms, and honestly, I don't think that a lot of people are doing them because it takes work.
Yeah.
Right. You got to sit down. Like I design all of my own stuff. I'm not a graphic designer by trade. Like I just kind of
Yeah.
learn as we go. And like, yeah, that doesn't look
Yeah.
good. We're not going to do that. But I use a projector to project different variations of the couple's names or initials, or if they want to include engagement photos. Or we'll take elements, depending on what information they give me, elements of their design for their day and try to incorporate, oh yeah, we're doing a lot of greenery and we're doing lanterns and we've got this feel. Okay, I got it. I'm going
Yeah.
to design this, and that reflects into the monogram.
Yeah.
So then we are able to put that up on a wall. So I used to put it up in the air, and as you walked into the building here, it was almost like a floor mat. So you walked in and you saw the couple's name on the floor.
Yep.
Change the projectors a little bit, so it gives me a little bit more flexibility, but I lose that part of it. So now we
Yeah.
put them on a wall. And so when couples or guests walk in, couples walk in, there's the couple's name that is 8 foot wide and 8 feet tall or whatever it ends up being. And it's just really kind of a nice touch. It's a personalized touch
Yep.
for just that couple
Yep.
because no 2 variations of that monogram are exactly alike.
Yep.
There's templates that I use like, oh, that was a really good idea. I want to keep that one
Yeah.
and use it for
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
But it's always add something, take something away from
Yeah.
it, which is always kind of cool.
Yeah. And then I also want you to talk about the voice book. And are you still doing GoPros?
Yes.
I think we should talk
So
about those 2 things as well.
So my career kind of started as a DJ by chance. It was dumb luck, quite honestly, that I fell into it. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. It was like, hey, can you DJ my wedding? And I'm like, sure. Keep your expectation like basement level because like, yeah, we got the speakers and I've got the lighting from another project that I was with. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know you, you know me, like, no hard feelings. We're good. And it took off. And so that started kind of taking off everything. And then, of course, now we are. 2024 is going to be my 13th year as a DJ, which
That's awesome. That's awesome.
it is why, like, I can't
That is
even
crazy.
believe, I say it all the time. I can't believe this is my life, right?
Yeah.
I get to boss people around and party with them and get paid to do it.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of life is this, right?
I feel like, can we bring out some like old pictures, like maybe that first wedding you did? Can we share that in this?
I know there's some old ones
We gotta
floating
find
around.
some.
I don't know if there's any from that wedding
Okay.
that I have, but I will see. And actually, it started out with a buddy of mine. We
Even
did
just
it
like
together.
your system, like how your system has changed.
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
I want to see it.
It's embarrassing. I look back and I'm like, how did that ever fly? Like, what made people think, yeah, that looks good, we're going to do that? Oh, because it was cheap, because it was getting started
Yeah.
with it. But, you know, here we are 13 years later, and like how everything has grown as far as like the production level of it, right? It's a whole lot different feel. There's a lot more into it. Obviously, you should be learning stuff as you go. But now, being into it for this long, you're like, okay, cool. What else can we do to enhance that guest experience? right? And so the first thing that we had done, I say we, like I have a whole team. I don't have a team. I have like people I soundboard stuff to, like, hey, do you think this is a stupid idea? Am I out of my ever-loving mind for even thinking about doing this, or am I onto something?
Yeah.
But they're audio guest books. So it's called Voice Book. And I mean, there's different variations of it. There's national companies that do it. There's more local companies that do it. But basically what it is the couples and guests get to leave voice messages for the couple on a vintage phone. Some of them predate rotaries, which is like, we're talking 30s and 40s era phones, which is wild that they still exist and that we can manipulate them to do the things that we want them to do. And then obviously your rotary phones. And then I've got a few of them that are push buttons. So those are a little bit more modern, but I think the newest one I've got is from the 80s.
And they're all like different colors.
Yep.
So
different colors, different styles. So
Yeah.
if you're looking to go like Ritz-Carlton, like feel like, oh, look at me, I'm really fancy. We can do Ritz-Carlton really fancy. One of them has actually been in the Beverly Hills Hotel for a wedding.
That's kind of cool.
And it had to be, I would venture to guess, $250,000 wedding.
Crazy.
Like I've seen pictures and I'm just going, holy cow.
Yikes.
I totally would be out of my element there. But it's cool to see my phones in those situations.
Yeah.
A few of them, or a couple of them, have been featured in magazines. Like I didn't know these magazines even existed. And I get emails and like, oh yeah, the bride submitted it to whatever magazine. And I'm like, what? That's a thing?
That's pretty awesome.
So it's like, that, how? Again, how is this my life? How does this work out this way? But anyway, going back to the phones. So guests leave messages on the phones. And I always encourage my clients and my brides and my couples to leave messages for each other without the other. So as they're going through listening to it, you can hear what your significant other is saying in the moment as it's happening. It's not a rehearsed thing. Yeah. So you can be like, oh, you really do like me, kind of, right? And it kind of runs the gamut. So at the beginning of the night, it's usually like mom's, dad's, grandma, grandpa, which is always kind of like the idea of it. Like grandma and grandpa aren't going to be around forever.
Yep.
Capture their voice.
Yep.
Most people don't have the foresight enough to do that. And when they're gone, you're going, well, now what?
Yeah. Right.
So now you can go back and listen to that time and time and time again if you want to. But then as the night goes on, and do we have product placement? Is this going to be sponsored by like Busch Light or somebody? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So when the Busch Lights kick in.
Yeah.
So when the Miller Lights kick in. And when the Coors Lights kick in. Who else? What am I missing? I'm so out of the loop. When the Michelob Ultras kick in. When you have 45 high noons.
High noons. So many high noons. I would be dead.
Post Malone's here. That's nothing. Let's see. When the case of wine kicks in, I think we got them all. Tito's? Was Tito's a thing still? Yeah. Anyway, so when all of the alcohol kicks in, people start to get a little bit loose. Yeah. And I have heard, and the thing that people don't realize when they leave these messages, I hear them all before anybody else does. I go through and I edit the audio, meaning I take out the gaps where there's nothing being said. Okay. I don't edit for content. So if do you have a bleep button effect that you can do? So when somebody leaves you a message that says, you fill it in whatever you want, because it happens, you are whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to hear. I'm going to clean it out and level it off a little bit, but that's what you're going to hear. I've heard engagement plans. Oh, I'm going to propose to so-and-so.
Oh, I love that.
Or, hey, so-and-so's pregnant. Don't tell anybody. I hear so all of this stuff beforehand, right?
That's awesome.
Or there's been a few of them that I'm going, there was one couple that was they were very church oriented. Like the church was a big part of their lives. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So, but when you work with those people, there's a certain feel that you get from that. Yeah. Like it's going to be very proper. It's not going to get raunchy. Yeah. Right. Yes, it did. And I think that was the one that you guys came in. Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, don't be scared of a finger. Like, whoa.
Okay. Whoa. So after you go through all the audio, What happens?
So
to it? Do you
after we
put
get
it
through
on
the
some- like a
audio, we get
vinyl
it
or
edited
what?
out and all that good stuff. I put it on a USB drive that gets sent to the couples.
Okay.
So like I'm a big believer in if you're buying something from me, I want to give you something that you can touch and you can feel. It's not just, okay, here's your file. Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Great. Awesome. But it's a USB drive. It'll say, depending on how you book those, if you book the voice book independently of the DJ, or if you book DJ
Okay, so you
and
can
voice
book just the voice book. You don't have to book USB.
Correct. Yep.
Got it.
And it's all shipped to you. Everything is there. It comes with instructions. The staff here at the barn is well versed on how to put those together now. They know how it works. And if they're not sure, they just text me.
Call 'em.
They call like, hey, how do we do this?
somewhere but this.
But then I also put together a sneak preview video of some of the messages. So as we're going through and editing the audio, I'll take excerpts of some of the messages. And this is where it gets really fun, because then you can frame that however you want. You can take a message that is meant to be wholesome and cut out bits and pieces of it to make it something that is entirely on the other end of the spectrum. So then you take some of those excerpts and I'll put it over footage of phones, or if I'm able to get footage of people using the phones for the night. And then I'll say, hey, here's a 30-second video, or here's a 1.5-minute video, depending on how many messages they get. So now they'll get that in their email, and they can always already get prepared for, oh boy, yep, the high noons kicked in on that one, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then they get their audio. So if they book the DJ, if they book me as the DJ and the voice book as well, you're also going to get audio of your day. So I audio record everything, ceremonies and speeches and introductions and all that. So that'll come all on the same USB drive.
Awesome.
The GoPros, that's a little bit newer venture. That's a tag team venture with a buddy of mine from the Cedar Rapids area. So it's called Deja Vu. And instead of, if you can't afford a true cinematographer, or it's just, if it's not in the budget, or it's not like high priority stuff for you, hire a videographer. If you're going to hire them, hire a good one. Talking right here.
Ben's pretty great.
Ben is pretty awesome. Like seriously, if you're not going to spend the money to do it, don't, because you're not going to be happy with it. Right.
Yeah, I agree. You get what you pay for sure.
100%. And that goes with, let me come back to that.
A lot of vendors.
But with the Deja Vu, you're able to rent the GoPros. So now you, your family, your guests, whoever can run around with GoPros all night long and shoot 4K video footage.
Your venue staff can also run around with them.
Yes. And so they also they come with accessories. So there's like a headband mount. So you mount the camera to your face and you can walk around and basically get first person point of view. I think we've had somebody do that here, and they walked around with it for like 45 minutes. So you saw whatever that person was seeing as they were walking around throughout the night.
I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It was a guest.
It must have been a guest.
Yep. But they come with like the little mini tripod, so you can set them up. And if you want to try to capture part of the ceremony, selfie sticks. The selfie sticks is the way to go on this. That's my favorite way to do them. If I take the GoPros with me to capture content, I will put that GoPro on a selfie stick. I will walk right out to the middle of the dance floor, say, here you go.
Yeah.
See ya.
That's the best.
Capture what you're going to capture.
Yeah.
And it's a little Blair Witchy.
Yeah.
Because you're getting the raw video of it, right?
Yeah.
People are just like, and there are times where I'm going through that because I like to look when I'm capturing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, quit spinning.
Yeah.
My God, stop spinning. He's like, you're going to get sick because you've been drinking all night long, right? But the thing with the Deja Vu is we don't edit any of the footage. All of that raw footage is yours. You literally pull the SD cards out. They are yours to keep. You do whatever you want with them.
That's awesome.
Package everything back up, put the return label that's included on it onto the box, drop it off at UPS. You're done. That's super simple. We ship all of those to you. So my goal is to have them shipped in the client's hands by the Wednesday or Thursday before the wedding, so they can open it up, get familiar with what's in there. If you've never run a GoPro before, it's a little daunting. Like, how do I do this? Right? So you can get familiar with it. They can capture rehearsal, day of, day after, send it back. You don't have the expense of spending $5,000 for a GoPro setup. You don't have to worry. Why can't we just use our phone? Are you going to hand your phone to a group of drunk people?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like GoPros are meant to take a little abuse. It's not meant to be a challenge.
Yeah.
But if something, like if you drop it, it's going to rebound better than your iPhone 15 Pro Ultra XP 0 Plus, whatever they're at right now, right? You don't want to take that chance.
Yeah.
So it's an economical way to get some footage, and footage that you're not going to get any other way.
Yeah.
There's very few cinematographers out there that are going to hand their $10,000 camera to a group of people that have been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me nervous when I see that happen.
It does happen.
Like, I'm like,
Didn't that happen?
yes, that
with
happens.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
like-
remember,
It terrifies
seeing
me.
it happen going, are they supposed to have this? Is this okay?
That's my
And I
thought
was like,
too.
oh my gosh, okay. Oh, sweet Jesus, don't let it break.
You're right.
And
That's
it was
I'm
the
like,
coolest footage.
yeah.
Like there's some really cool stuff out of that.
You get, oh yeah.
That party crowd needed it too.
Oh,
They were a good time.
yes. And for that really set the precedent, like, because that was the first time I'd been out here, and I'm like, oh yeah, these Biggsville people, they're all
Yeah.
about it. Let's do this.
Yeah.
There's been some things that, that we've seen, and I'm like, I don't think the couple was necessarily super happy with it, but I'm like, oh, Ben. Yeah. Anyway, going back to the thing that remind me. So vendors, when you're booking your vendors, venues even for that matter, what you get, what you pay for is what you're going to get. Okay. So the analogy I like to use is if you're in the market for a new car, you can go get a Ford, was it the big one, Expedition?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
Suburban version
Yeah.
of it?
The biggest.
Okay, let's do Suburban because I got that one down, right? You can go get a Suburban,
Okay.
a regular Chevy Suburban, standard, it's still going to cost you $70,000.
Okay.
It's going to get you from A to B.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have, a couple of rows of seats. You're going to be able to get 5 or 6 people in there, whatever. It's going to do fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fine. Or you can be super cush and comfy and take the peace of mind of that, and you can get yourself a Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
That Cadillac is going to be a whole lot more comfy to roll around in.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give you lots more options. It's going to be more in tune with what you're doing because the technology is generally bumped up in that price level. Chances are you're probably going to have a third row. Like you're going to get more people. It's going to be just a better experience.
Yep.
Right? Get a Ferrari or a Ford Tempo. Ford Tempo is going to get you there. That Ferrari is going to be a hell of a lot more fun to get there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Same thing with your vendors. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yep.
Like there are some people that charge price just for the sake of look at me. Well, yeah, but do you know what you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And kind of going back with like the speaker setup, right? I charge a premium price, and it's not meant to be a brag, and it's not meant to be an ego, and it's not meant to be an arrogance thing. But the extra speakers, that's just standard procedure for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And not everybody, a DJ at a $500 price point isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
More than likely, right? They're either just getting started or they're like, it's beer money. I don't care,
Yeah.
right? Charging a premium price for stuff, you need to make sure that the couple feels like they're getting that. And it's the little things like having the extra speakers, having the microphones in the right places, and the communication, all of the things create that experience. Whereas that $500 guy's like, yep, cool. Ceremony starts in 10 minutes. All right, I'll start bringing my stuff in now. What are you doing?
Been there.
It happens.
Been there.
It happens. Like when I go into a place, yeah, I'm there 4 or 5 hours ahead of time. It's ridiculous. It absolutely is ridiculous.
It's not in my eyes.
But it's also it's peace
It's
of
just
mind.
peace of mind,
It's
yeah.
peace of mind
It
for
is.
me. Like
And
I don't
for
have to
me,
rush
and
through
for
everything.
bride.
Right. The bride's not going, where's my DJ? Where's my
Yeah.
DJ? Like if they know I'm here and I'm counting to 4 for 2 hours because I'm trying to get the mic set, it's because I care. It's not that I'm trying to be obnoxious.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one thing I'll tell when I go to do a sound check to kind of get my levels baselined is I'm going to be obnoxious for a minute, but
Yeah.
just let me do it for a little bit
Yeah.
because it's going to kind of
Everyone will be happy.
right. It's going to follow into everything else.
Yep.
Same thing with the mics. I'm not doing it because I like the sound of my voice.
Yep.
I'm doing it for a reason to try to get it to be the best that we can get it for when that moment comes. It's not going, huh?
Yeah.
What? Huh? Right? So
Exactly.
spend the money.
Exactly.
Get somebody that is, you don't have to spend the money just for the sake of doing it. Spend the money for something that you feel comfortable with, but don't cheap out on some of this stuff because you get one crack at it. And if it's gone and it doesn't work, you don't get a redo. It is what it is.
All right. Well, thank you for being here with us today. Where can we find you? Where should we send brides to see you?
So centerstageproductionsdj.com was my website that has pretty much everything that I have to offer, and links to the voice book. It has links to the Deja Vu, and then Facebook, Instagram. I do have a TikTok account. I'm not very good at creating and capturing content and putting it together. I'll be the very first person to tell you that. I update it when I can, but it's all there. Right. Okay. As we start adding things, we got a few more things that we're looking at adding in and presenting to couples here, hopefully coming up in the next few months. And those will be the first places they end up is within the social medias and those kind of things. So
awesome.
Pretty cool.
Thanks for being
where
here.
do we find you guys?
Well, here we are right here.
Right here in Bigsville.
Right here in Henderson County.
Is that where we're at? I don't even know what county this is.
Henderson County.
Look for
We love
the big silo and the bin. And but no, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Like it's always fun to come out and hang out with you guys, especially in a non-wedding capacity. Like kind of kick back and take it easy and
actually have a conversation.
Right. And have fun with it and get to hang out with my friends and
I agree.
Steal all your Red Bulls for the way home. No, seriously, it's like those little things that as a vendor, I greatly appreciate that. It means the world that you guys put the thought into those things and offer that and make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Well, we recognize the guests are coming from a lot of places to the middle of nowhere or somewhere, depending on your perspective.
Right.
But same with vendors. If y'all need a energy drink, where are you going to go to get one?
Yeah.
So we better have
Riverside.
one. We better make sure.
So, seriously, that's usually my stop on the way back home from here.
So we like to make sure it's in-house so we can take care of our people.
Right.
And you're our people.
Oh. See you next time. Okay.